Welcome to Puzzles and Solutions. Today I will go over the IQ Champion IQ test. This is a very well designed IQ test and one of my favorites. There are some very tough puzzles. One of the puzzles I was not able to solve by myself. The test has 36 puzzles in total with a time limit of 40 minutes. The highest possible score of the IQ test is 150 IQ if you answer every question correctly. I will leave the link to the IQ test down below in the description, and if you're just following along the video, I highly suggest that you pause the video before each puzzle and try them yourself before listening to my solution. Let's start solving the puzzles. Puzzle number 1. Here we have the same picture in every row and column, which is a blue circle. Answer 9 is a blue circle and the correct answer. Puzzle number 2. To produce the second picture in a row, we just scale down the first picture and place it inside of the original first picture. And to produce the third picture in a row, we just scale down the second picture and place it inside of the first picture. Therefore, our answer will be 3 green triangles pointing downwards. Answer 6 is the correct answer. Puzzle number 3. To produce the third picture in a row, we take the first picture and place it in the middle of the second picture. Then we remove the overlap between the first and the second picture. Doing this for the fourth row, we get answer 6 as the correct solution. Puzzle number 4. The third picture in a row has the top half color of the first picture and the bottom half color of the second picture. Looking at the fourth row, we have a white top half and a blue bottom half. Answer 2 is the correct solution. Puzzle number 5. This is a puzzle with rotation in the rows. Moving from the first picture in the row to the second picture, we have a 90 degrees clockwise rotation, and moving from the second picture to the third picture, we have another 90 degrees clockwise rotation. To solve the puzzle, we go by the fourth row and we rotate the second picture by 90 degrees clockwise. This gives answer 3 as the correct solution. Puzzle number 6. In this puzzle, we have a smoothing of the edges. To solve the puzzle, the first thing to notice is that the general shape and rotation is conserved. This leaves either answer 5, 8 or 9 as the correct answer. If you look at the second picture in the fourth row, our answer has to be more smooth than that picture. Answer 5 is identical to the second picture and therefore not correct. And answer 9 is less smooth than the second picture and therefore not correct. This leaves answer 8 as the correct solution. Puzzle number 7. I think the easiest way to explain this puzzle is by using the first row as an example. Notice that the position of the circles in each picture can be described by a dot in the bottom left corner, a dot in the middle left, and a dot in the top left corner. In total, we have 8 of these dot positions, and moving to the right in the row, the circle always moves to the next dot in a clockwise direction. To solve the puzzle, we look at the fourth row. The second picture has a circle in the bottom middle, and moving it once in clockwise position will lead to a circle in the bottom left corner. Answer 2 is the correct solution. Puzzle number 8. Another rotation puzzle. Moving from the first to the second picture in a row, we have a 45 degree counterclockwise rotation. And moving from the second to the third picture, we have another 45 degrees counterclockwise rotation. Going by the fourth row and doing the rotation, we get answer 2 as the correct solution. Puzzle number 9. This is a row puzzle where we reduce the height of the lines by 1 as we move to the right in the row. I will show you in the first row how I see this puzzle in my head. Looking at the first picture, we get the bottom portion chopped off and it falls down to create the second picture. Looking at the second picture, we get the bottom portion chopped off and it falls down to create the third picture. To solve the puzzle, we just do the same thing for the second picture in the fourth row. We chop off the bottom portion and it falls down. This is identical to answer 6. Answer 6 is the correct solution. Puzzle number 10. This is a mirroring puzzle. The pictures in the second column give this line of mirroring, and the pictures in the first column is mirrored by this line to create the pictures in the third column. Personally, I dislike visualizing this mirroring effect. Instead, I picture a pancake and a spatula. The pictures in the first and the third column are these weirdly shaped pancakes, and the tip of the spatula is shown by the line of mirroring in the second column. To produce the third picture in a row, we simply flip the first picture in the row forwards or backwards compared to the tip of the spatula. This flipping is perfectly 180 degrees and lines back on the pan. To solve the puzzle, we just flip the first picture in the fourth row directly to the left or the right. This gives answer 7. Answer 7 is the correct solution. Puzzle 11. In this puzzle, to create the third picture in a row, we take the second picture in the row and turn it the same color as the first picture, and then we place the second picture on top of the first picture. To solve the puzzle, we do this for the fourth row and we get a blue hexagon on top of a blue upside down triangle. Answer 6 is the correct answer. Puzzle 12. This is an addition puzzle with cancellation. To produce the third picture in a row, we add the first and the second picture with the following rules. Gray plus gray equals gray, gray plus green or green plus gray equals green, and green plus green equals gray. To solve the puzzle, we follow these rules for the fourth row and we get a grey area in the bottom left corner and the rest of the corners are green. Answer 4 is the correct solution. Puzzle 13. In this puzzle, we have polygons in the first column and even smaller polygons in the second column. To produce the third picture in a row, we place the second picture in each of the corners of the polygon in the first picture, and then turn them the same color as the first picture. Doing this for the fourth row, we get answer 6 as the correct solution. Puzzle 14. This is a simple addition puzzle. To get the third picture in a row, we add the height of the black lines in the two first pictures. To solve the puzzle, we go by the fourth row. The left side is 0 plus 0 equaling 0 height. The middle is 2 plus 2 equaling 4 height. And the right is 1 plus 2 equaling 3 height. Answer 7 is the correct solution. Puzzle 15. This is a rotation puzzle. Going from the first to the second picture in a row, we have a 45-degree counterclockwise rotation, and going from the second to the third picture, we have another 45-degree counterclockwise rotation. There is also a color component to the puzzle, where the first and the third picture in a row have the same color. Going by the fourth row and rotating the first picture by 90 degrees counterclockwise, or the second picture by 45 degrees counterclockwise, we get answer 5 as the correct solution. Puzzle 16. In this puzzle, we simply add the first and the second picture to produce the third. We have these 5 circles which are either black or white. If the circles are black in either one or both the first pictures, then the circle will be black in the third picture. To solve the puzzle, we go by the fourth row. We get a black circle in the bottom right corner, in the top left corner, and in the top right corner. Answer 1 is the correct solution. Puzzle number 17. To explain this puzzle, I'm going to use the first row as an example. If you look at the first picture in the first row, we see that the blue squares is next to these 4 squares, which gets colored blue to produce the second picture. For the second picture, we have these 5 black squares next to the blue squares, which again gets colored blue to produce the third picture. To solve the puzzle, let's look at the fourth row. In the first picture, we have these 4 black squares next to the blue squares, and in the second picture, we have these 7 black squares next to the blue squares. Turning this blue gives answer 9 as the correct solution. Puzzle 18. This is an addition puzzle with cancellation with the following rules. Blue plus blue equals blue, blue plus orange or orange plus blue equals orange, and orange plus orange equals blue. To solve the puzzle, we follow these rules for the fourth row. This gives an orange square in the fourth slot, and the rest are blue. Answer 1 is the correct solution. Puzzle 19. I personally struggled to find some clear rule to solve this puzzle at first. I think it's a very interesting puzzle, so if you haven't solved it by yourself yet, I suggest that you pause the video and keep trying to solve it. To explain the puzzle, I'll go quickly through each of the rows. If you look at the first row, the first picture have 5 dots which are right next to another dot, and these 5 dots are removed to make the second picture. In the second picture, we have these 2 dots on the bottom which are removed. Now what does moving from the first to the second picture and moving from the second to the third picture have in common? All the dots which have the shortest distance to another dot is removed. It becomes more clear when we go through the next rows. The shortest distance between dots in the first picture in the second row are these 3 dots in the top left corner. And in the second picture, it's these 3 dots on the right side. For the third row, we have 2 on the left and then 2 on the bottom right. For the fourth row, we have 5 on the left side and then 3 on the right side. Removing these 3 leads to answer 1 as the correct solution. Puzzle number 20. In this puzzle, we have these colored circles which move in some pattern. I'll use the first row as an example. The circles on the left side are always pushed down, and the same holds true for the right side. The bottom circles are pushed outside the picture and reappear on the top side on the opposite side. The bottom left reappear on the top right, and the bottom right reappear on the top left. To solve the puzzle, we just move the circles like this in the second picture in the fourth row. This leads to answer 4 being the correct solution. Puzzle 21. In this puzzle, we have 4 positions and 2 types of circles. We have black circles and white circles. A grey circle is just a black and a white circle on top of each other. Let's start by focusing only on the white circles. We can quite easily see how moving to the right in a row leads to the white circles moving in one position in clockwise direction. Looking at the fourth row, we can see that there will be 2 white circles on the top left and top right in our correct answer. Adding the black circles back in, we see that the black circles move in opposite direction of the white circles. They move in one position in counterclockwise direction. Looking at the second picture in the fourth row, we can see 3 black circles, and rotating them once in counterclockwise direction will lead to a black circle in the bottom left and bottom right corner. The black and white circle in the top right corner fuse together into a grey circle, and there will be a white circle in the top left corner. Answer 1 is the correct solution. Puzzle 22. In this puzzle, we have these lines on blue and brown segments. The lines always extend to the neighboring segments. To solve the puzzle, we just look at the fourth row and we see that there will be a full line on top, on the second bottom, and on the bottom. There will be no line in the middle, and 3/4 of a full line on the second top. Answer 9 is the correct solution. Puzzle 23. In this puzzle, we added new triangles on the surface of the previous structure. I found this puzzle quite easy because of a shortcut I found. First, we can just ignore the two first rows. We see that the pictures in the fourth row is simply the pictures in the third row, rotated roughly 120 degrees in clockwise direction and turned green. To solve the puzzle, all we do is to rotate the third picture in the third row by roughly 120 degrees in clockwise direction. This leads to answer 5 being the correct solution. Puzzle 24. This is a very fun and easy puzzle. The first column have these polygons. The polygons consist of points and lines extended between these points. The circles in the second column indicate which points we should remove in order to create the polygon in the third column. In the first row, for example, the polygon have 3 corners. The circle in the second picture indicate that we should remove the yellow corner. This leaves only the blue and the red point left, and extending a line between these leads to the third picture. To solve the puzzle, we go by the fourth row. The polygon have 4 points, and the second picture indicates that we should remove the red and the blue point. This leaves only a line between the green and the yellow point in our answer. Answer 4 is the correct solution. Puzzle 25. This is a very interesting addition puzzle with cancellation. The polygon pictures in the second column represent a picture similar to the picture in the first column. The edges of the polygon are each a blue circle like this. Now to solve the puzzle, we just follow the rules. No circle plus no circle equals no circle. Circle plus no circle or no circle plus circle equals circle. And circle plus circle equals no circle. Doing this addition for the fourth row, we get answer 8 as the correct solution. Puzzle 26. This was another puzzle that I enjoyed very much. The best way to explain it is through the first row. Looking at the first picture in the first row, the red box explodes and destroys itself and every box it touches. The box floating in the middle of the air falls down to the ground. The exact same thing happens in the second picture. The yellow box explodes and destroys itself and every box it touches. It's important to see that it's not in direct contact with the box in the middle, even though they're very close. To solve the puzzle, let's look at the second picture in the fourth row. The yellow box explodes and destroys itself and the boxes around it. The box floating in the middle of the air falls down to the ground. Answer 2 is the correct solution. Puzzle 27. In this puzzle, we have 3 shapes stacked on top of each other. We are looking down on the stack of shapes from above. When we move to the right in the row, we take the top shape and place it on the bottom of the stack. There is also a color component to this puzzle. If a shape is black in the second picture in the row, then it's black in the third picture as well. And if a shape is white in the second picture, then the color of the shape in the third picture will be the same color of the shape in the first picture. To solve the puzzle, we look at the fourth row. We can tell that the horizontal shape and the hexagon shape will both be black, while the vertical line will be yellow. The vertical shape will be on the bottom, the horizontal shape will be in the middle, and the hexagon will be on top. Answer 9 is the correct solution. Puzzle 28. The hardest thing about this puzzle is keeping track of everything and making sure that you don't make an error. Basically, each circle moves in some direction within the other circles, and we have to keep track of what direction they're moving. The key is to focus at one circle at a time. I'll use the first row as an example. Focusing on the white circle, we can see that it moves in a clockwise pattern. Focusing on the red circle, we can see that it stays on the bottom at all time. Focusing on the grey circle, we see that it moves in a counterclockwise pattern. To solve the puzzle, let's do the same thing for the fourth row. The grey circle moves in a counterclockwise direction and will be on the left side in the correct answer. This removes answer 2 and answer 9 as possible correct answers. Focusing on the red circle, we see that it stays on the right side at all time. This removes answer 1 and answer 7 as a possibility. Focusing on the white circle, we see that it moves in a clockwise pattern and will be on the right side in the correct answer. This removes answer 4 and answer 6 as a possibility. Finally, the smallest circle also moves in a clockwise pattern and will be on the left side in the correct answer. This removes answer 5 and answer 8 as an option, leaving answer 3 as the correct solution. Puzzle number 29. This is another very fun puzzle. In the second column, we have this network of dots which describe how the circles move going from the first to the third picture in a row. Going from the first to the third picture, the dots always moves in a clockwise pattern within the network they're inside. To solve the puzzle, we go by the fourth row. Looking at the second picture, we have 3 networks. We have 2 dots on top. These 2 dots will swap places. We have 1 dot on the bottom right, which will remain the same color, and we have 4 dots in the middle, which will move in a clockwise pattern. This leaves answer 3 as the correct solution. Puzzle number 30. In this puzzle, we have these colored squares and a black background. The pattern of the colored squares is like this. Moving to the right in a row, we can see that the colored squares move in a specific direction, 1 tile at a time. For example, if we look at the first picture in the first row, we have 4 colored squares. Going to the second picture, we see that the red square moves downwards, the blue square moves towards the top left, the green square moves towards the right, and the yellow square moves outside the picture. Now notice that the movement I described for the red, blue and green dot remains the same going from the second to the third picture. If you look at the 3 next rows, we see this new thing, which is this white square. A white square is simply 2 or more colored squares in the same position. To solve the puzzle, let's look at the 4th row. The yellow square moves towards the left and will leave the frame going from the second to the third picture. The blue square moves upwards and will end up in the top left corner in the third picture. Because there is only the red and the green square left, we know that they're both inside the white square. So the red square moves downwards and will end up in the middle bottom in the third picture. The green square moves towards the right and will end up in the middle right in the third picture. The blue square is in the top left, the green square is in the middle right, and the red square is in the middle bottom. Answer 9 is the correct solution. Puzzle 31. This was the first puzzle I found an error in. If we look at the first row, we can see that moving to the right in the row, the red corner moves in 1 position in counterclockwise direction, while the blue corner moves in 2 positions in clockwise direction. Looking at the second row, we can see that a white corner is produced when a red and a blue corner overlap. If we look at the third row, in the second picture we have a white corner and a red corner. But going from the second to the third picture, the white corner disappears. I think this is just a design flaw from the puzzle creator. To solve the puzzle, we look at the second picture in the 4th row. Moving the 2 blue corners in 2 positions in clockwise direction leads to a blue corner in the bottom left and the top right. Moving the red corner in 1 position in counterclockwise direction leads to a red corner in the top right. Because we have a blue and a red corner in the top right, it will turn white. The answer will have a blue corner in the bottom left and a white corner in the top right. Answer 5 is the correct solution. Puzzle number 32. This might be the most difficult IQ test puzzle that I've ever come across. After around 2 hours of trying to solve it, I gave up and asked for help. I will be very impressed if any one of you watching is able to solve it by yourself. I don't want to ruin the puzzle for anyone who wants a challenge, so before giving the correct answer, I will give it 3 hints. Pause the video now if you don't want the first hint. Okay, hint number 1. If we give the red circles a value of 1 and the blue circles a value of 2, then the total value in the third picture will always be double of the total value in the first picture. For example, in the first row, we have 6 red circles in the first picture. This gives a value of 6 in the first picture. And in the third picture, we have 6 red circles and 3 blue circles. This gives a total value of 12 in the third picture. So because the value is 6 in the first picture, it will be 12 in the third picture. Pause the video now if you don't want the second hint. The second hint is that when I look at the second column, I see these knobs on an oven which you rotate to change the temperature. Because of this, I assume that the puzzle had something to do with rotations. Instead, you should view the second column as these arrows which point from the center and outwards in the line where black and white meets. Pause the video now if you don't want the third hint. The third hint is that the puzzle is a form of an addition puzzle and adding 2 red circles together gives a blue circle. That was all the hints. Hopefully some of you took the hints and was able to solve the puzzle by yourself. I will use the first row as an example for how the puzzle works. Let's start by removing the rest of the rows to have some space. We take the first picture and we take one of the arrows. This indicates that we should move all the circles up by 1. The circles which fall outside the picture on the top reappear on the bottom. This produces this picture. Again, we take the first picture and we add the second arrow. This indicates that we should move all the circles to the right by 1, which produces this picture. Now all you do is simply add these 2 pictures together to get the third picture. 2 red dots become a blue dot. Now that you understand the method, let's solve the puzzle. Again, let's remove everything but the 4th row. We take the first picture and one of the arrows and move everything towards the bottom right. Moving towards the bottom right is the same as moving once towards the right and once downwards. Again, we take the first picture and we add the second arrow and move everything towards the bottom left. Now we have these 2 pictures and we add them together to get answer 1 as the correct solution. Puzzle 33. This is a very well designed puzzle. In this puzzle we have these lines which are connected to the dots and we added the 2 first pictures in a row to produce the third picture. If the path of 2 lines cross, then they cancel out. Let's use the first row as an example. In the second picture, we have lines between these dots. Let's start by moving them over to the first picture and then adding lines between them. We can clearly see how the lines in the second picture cut every line going from the top left to the bottom right. This leaves 3 lines which goes from the top right to the bottom left, which we can see in the third picture. There is one more important detail to solve the puzzle. If we look at the third row, we have a new situation. In the first picture, we have 3 dots in a line like this. Now, is this a singular big line or 2 small lines? This question is important because we don't know what happens when we cut the line. Looking at the second picture, we have these 2 points and a line between them. Adding them over to the first picture, we see that it cuts the line which I previously talked about. Now looking at the third picture, we see that the top portion of the line is conserved, and therefore we know that it's 2 small lines and not a singular big one. There are 2 more rules, and they're quite easy to find. The first rule is that if a line goes through 2 or more lines, then all the lines are cut. We can see this in the second row. The second rule is that if 2 lines extend from the same point, then they do not cut each other. To solve the puzzle, let's go by the fourth row. In the first picture, we have these dots and these lines connected to them. Adding them over to the second picture, we can see which lines get cut. Pause the video if you want some time to look at it, but basically after all the cutting, we are left with this picture. The picture is identical to answer 4. Answer 4 is the correct solution. Puzzle number 34. In this puzzle, we have these arrows in the second column which points towards the left or towards the right. The shapes in the first picture are organized from smallest to biggest in the direction of the arrows to produce the third picture. I will go through all the incorrect answers and why they are incorrect. Answer number 9 has this box which are marked in blue, and if we look at the first picture in the fourth row, we have this fourth box in this position instead. So answer 9 is not correct because the box is in the wrong vertical place. Next, I want you to look at answer 2, answer 3 and answer 8. They all have a smaller box on top of a bigger box. This breaks the rule of always sorting from smallest to biggest in the direction of the arrow. Therefore, these answers are wrong. Next, look at answer 4, answer 5 and answer 7. They all have the small boxes in the wrong position. This leaves either answer 1 or answer 6 as correct. The only difference between these 2 answers are the biggest rectangles. If you look at the first picture in the fourth row, the 2 rectangles are placed like this. The red rectangle is on top and the blue is on bottom. Looking at answer 4, we know it can't be correct because it has blue on top and red on bottom. Answer 1 is the correct solution. Puzzle 35. I have not found a simple solution to explain the officially correct answer. I would really appreciate any comment explaining this puzzle in a simple way. So let's go through how I solved the puzzle and how I came up with a wrong answer. The first priority of the puzzle is to separate any 2 dots connected. We can see this in the first row, second row and fourth row. Notice that it's always the most left bar which is placed between the dots. After this is fulfilled, the next thing to do is to move the leftmost object to the rightmost position. We can see this in the first row and the third row. Now, you would expect the puzzle to move the leftmost object to the rightmost position in the second picture in the second row, but the problem is that this would create a pair of dots right next to each other, which would break our first priority. Instead, we move the leftmost bar to the rightmost position. We can also observe this in the first picture in the third row. To solve the puzzle, we look at the second picture in the fourth row. Notice that we have a pair of dots right next to each other and we have to use the leftmost bar to place it between them. The problem is that moving the leftmost bar would create a new pair of dots right next to each other, and therefore we use the secondmost left bar. This gives answer 5 as the correct solution. After testing, I found out that answer 6 is the officially correct answer. Anyways, I hope someone can find an explanation for why answer 6 is correct and tell us in the comments. Puzzle number 36. This is the final puzzle of the test. In this puzzle, we have these colored tiles, and they spread onto the neighboring tiles and we move to the right in a row. If a tile is next to 2 different colored tiles, then they cancel out. Another thing, if we focus on the second picture in the second row, we have this tile which is next to 2 blue tiles and 1 orange tile. This gives a blue tile because a tile will always become the color which it's mostly surrounded by. To solve the puzzle, let's focus on the second picture in the fourth row. First, let's focus on the dot in the top right corner, which are marked in purple. The dot is right next to 2 green dots, and therefore it will be green. Looking at the answers, we see that answer 1, 4, 5 and 6 all have a blank tile in the top right corner. We can just remove these as possible correct answers. Next, looking at these 2 tiles, which are marked in purple, they are both next to 1 blue and 1 orange dot, so the purple tiles will become blank tiles. Answer 2, 6 and 9 all have colored tiles in these two spots and cannot be correct. And finally, focusing on these two tiles on the top right, we can see that they both will be blank tiles. Because answer 8 has 2 green dots there, it cannot be correct. This leaves answer 3 as the correct solution. After taking the test with every solution I came up with in this video, I got this as the result. This is the maximum score of 150 IQ. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again in the next puzzle.